Tree Harvest Seeds has been set up primarily as a native Irish wild flora conservation organisation where we want to preserve Ireland's flora by creating and maintaining a seed bank. This is a really good example that happened last year of some of our work. This is a designated privately owned ASSI. And this is the shot that we took when we were making a seed collection of Simolis valorandi. In the inset, you can see it's a lovely little delicate white flower. I think it's quite rare in Ireland, but it's not on the list or anything. But nevertheless, we made this seed collection and a few others from this population. And just weeks before Storm Ophelia hit, and once this is about 30 feet above normal high tide level, this pool, it's a freshwater pool, and Ophelia completely gouged out all the vegetation and some of the rocks as well, really rearranged the place. And the landowner then phoned me and said, did you get those collections okay? So I said, yes, we've got the collections, and so we're now working on a programme to returf the area, and we can use the seed collections from the seed bank that we have to grow out the plants, the Simolis valorandi and a few others. So we got black rush, we got common butterwort, and put these species back in here. So that's the overarching aim of Tree Harvest Seeds, is really to protect Ireland's native species. So, battery's running low. Apparently, this needs plugged in. This laptop. The battery is running low on this laptop. Oh well, I'll keep going. Sure, just. Okay, so we registered Tree Harvest Seeds as a charity. We're based in County Down, and we registered as a charity. The seeds are actually quite valuable on a global scale. People realise the difference between value and worth, but seeds are valuable. So in order for the seeds to remain the property of the people of Ireland, we registered as a charity. We're based in Gillies, which is just south of Strangford in County Down. And that's our current crew of seed enthusiasts, from volunteers to myself and Jeff. Okay. So our concerns really I'm sure I don't need to tell you, the loss of habitat that we've got. Our habitats that even we protect aren't always in the best condition, and some species that aren't red listed or on Schedule 8 are actually in steep decline. So those sort of species that we would be concentrating on. We're worried about Brexit and what's going to happen with borders. If we make a collection in the south of the country, do we cross an international border? And then genetically modified wildflower patents are being issued to big agri-seed companies. And I don't know, it's a long story about seed companies. If you are growing an organic crop and your neighbour is growing GM, if it's whether it's wind pollinated or insect pollinated, if your seeds as an organic grower end up containing genetic material from the genetically modified population next door, your seeds actually belong to, or the property of, the GM farmer next door to you. And this could happen with our wildflowers. If genetically modified wildflowers are released into our country, then our wildflowers, through interbreeding and generations, become the property of whoever owns the patent. And that was one of the things that really sparked us in 2013. And I looked at my friends and I said, okay, I'm going to start a seed bank. And they said, okay, well, we'll help you. And I said, great. So that was 13. And so there are also few restrictions on the imports of non-origin species of wildflower seeds. So we can go and we can get, I went to a wildflower talk on Tuesday night, and the very lovely gardener was saying, you know, bring in geranium pratense and a variety. And geranium pratense is one of our Schedule 8 species in the north anyway. And, but if people bring in these varieties from Britain and from Europe, they will then interbreed with ours, and we will lose any Irishness that we have. And part of the trouble as well is there's been very little genetic research done in Ireland, you know, as to subspecies even. I mean, some subspecies can be obvious to look at, but genetically we don't really know if we have specific traits. Probably do, maybe we don't. But we're going to lose those if we keep on bringing in foreign native imports. And then, of course, diseases. So seed banking, it preserves our natural capital, which is, it's just sitting out there in hedgerows and fields, and we have no real measure of it, and we don't know what's in steep decline, we don't know. So there's plenty of work for True Harvest Seeds to do in that department as well. And once we make our seed collections, our collections are available. There's a bit more about this later, but our collections are available for people to make requests and receive some seed and then grow them out for restoration projects. So it's a seed bank, not a seed museum. And the data that we collect as well, we collect data when we make a collection, and our data is based on, we talk to landowners, we talk to local people, we find out, is the population native, or has there been a garden centre down the road in the last 30 years, which maybe will have, interbred? And we only collect populations that we can be as sure as possible, as sure as anybody can be, that what we're targeting is native, has been here for as long as well, since the last ice age. We target archaeophyte populations, so before the year 1500. And community involvement at all levels, so we talk to landowners, we talk to local people, we talk to local departments. If the collections on an ASSI, we have to get special permissions if it's Schedule 8 plants, or and really we started off this by word of mouth, just going out and talking to as many people as we could and giving talks, and people coming forward, landowners coming forward and saying, well, I've got a really nice population of, and we would say, right, okay, we'll come and have a look and chat about it. And that's how we operate still quite a lot, actually, just talking. And then we like our volunteers. We've got seed collector volunteers now, quite a lot of seed volunteer collectors over the countryside, and they have been trained in our seed collections, which is quite specific protocols, and then they can make collections and send them into the seed bank. And with that, as the lead collector's name stays with the collection for the life of the collection, which can be hundreds and hundreds of years. That's a very technical way of saying a good seed bank in the country that we can all get to. And we want to develop a network of partners, so coming again and talking, just letting everybody know what we're trying to achieve. Raising awareness of people using local native Irish seed. We are very interested in germination testing, which kind of happens as part of the collections, but also genetic testing to talk about, really what I was saying about earlier, about how, and then same again as some of the other problems, that there's no benchmark here. There's nobody's done any genetic testing for us to measure against. So we're really starting with an open book, which, and yeah, our future generations can have original flowers. Okay, these are some seed banks around the world. top left-hand corner is Q's Millennium Seed Bank, who've been very, very kind to us and really generous with their time and resources and knowledge. They bank vegetable seeds and crop wild relatives and native flora from all over the world. They've a massive collection. Top right is Nordvik. They concentrate on vegetable crops and crop wild relatives, and they don't really bank native flora, you know. And bottom left is actually the working bank from Syrian seed bank, and Syria's seed bank was wiped out almost in the war. And they had actually sent, this man in the picture had been sending seeds to the Svalbard seed bank, and Svalbard then repopulated the Syrian seed bank after the war was over, and they have restored the seed bank. So all sorts of very interesting work with seeds going on all over the world, and Ireland has a lot of opportunity to join in. So I'm going to have to go through this quite quickly, but we have a lot of species. Given 32 counties and different niche habitats within those, at least 40,000 collections, really more, to get a good representative of Ireland's flora. Oh, just a few pictures, some rare plants, some not so rare. And tree seed collection, and tree understory. So we have, to date, we've banked 150 collections now of species that weren't banked at all before anywhere in the world. Over 15, 16 and 17. 108 of those have been duplicated in the Millennium Seed Bank at Kew. They've been really generous with their germination testing, with their cleaning and processing. And that'll continue this year. But after this year, where their funding has changed, so we're going to be on our own more with doing that. So we're going to be doing more seed processing ourselves. We follow very specific scientific protocols when we do the collections. Different for trees as they are for flora. We dry the seeds down to 15% relative humidity, which means we can only collect what are known as orthodox seeds. We can't collect seeds which are known as recalcitrant, and those really, recalcitrant seed would be an acorn or a horse chestnut, seeds that never want to dry out. You know, they want to hit the floor and start going. And we've got 35 collections scheduled in 2018. Doesn't maybe sound like much, but it's a lot of work in 35 collections. So I'm going to have to run through these quickly, but tree seed collections comprise 4 parts. One of the things we do is, see the little seed cut in half, we have to do a cut test with all our collections to check the viability of the seed that we're collecting. So flora collections, just for completeness. So our team of volunteers, very important, data sheet, seeds, DNA sample, herbarium specimen and photographs. And each collection is held in 2 parts. So we've got a working collection part, that would tend to be the bulk of the seed. And we've got a base collection which is held at least 500 seeds. And it's not opened up, it's just held in the freezer, tucked away, and the working collection would be the bag that we would open up to give for restoration projects or germination testing, that kind of thing, and then close it up again. So those seeds, they won't last for as long because they're being opened and closed and defrosted and re-dried. And so this is our seed processing lab in Gillies. It's a little different looking now. That was a couple of years ago. Well, seed cleaning equipment. And then post-harvest handling, very important to maintain the viability of your seed, as you know how you treat it as soon as you've collected it. And then this is Gillies, our head office, where lots of work going on here. Planting, growing out seed for seed. We've got a little bit of a seed orchard for trees coming on there, rare species. And some of the training and education we give out. And current projects, so UK Flora, UK Trees with Q, Heritage Lottery Project, Saving Our Future of Our Wildflowers. Ballyhornan is a grass, a native coastal grass, where we're growing out plants for them. And then partnerships. We would like to get to meet landowners, if we may. So anybody here who has some land that they think they would have a good population of, please come and talk to me. I'll be here today and tomorrow. So that's it.